Welcome to WION World of Cricket. I'm Esha Hanspal. The World Cup caravan now moves to match number 17 to be played between India and Bangladesh at the MCA Stadium in Pune. Now, the head-to-head between the two in the last 5 ODIs shows us it's Bangladesh's 3 to India's 2 wins. This includes Bangladesh's Asia Cup Super 4 stage win over India in Colombo last month, where India's star opener Shubman Gill posted 121, by the way, but India still lost that match. India missed quite a few catching opportunities in that one, something that we saw as recently as last evening can cost you very dearly. But to compare the tally of ODI wins by these two teams in their last 5 matches played individually, India have won 4 out of their last 5 games and Bangladesh have lost 4 of their last 5. This includes the 3 World Cup games that both the teams have played this month. Now, Bangladesh are playing an ODI against India in India for the first time since 1998. That is 25 years. And Bangladesh's only win against India in the ODI World Cup was 16 years ago, in 2007 in Trinidad. Now, on the points table right now, India on the 2nd spot and Bangladesh on the 6th. To cover the batting and deeper analysis of the situation, Dav, Bangladesh wins the toss, elects to bat first. Little different from what we've seen in the tournament so far.
The trend has been win the toss and have a bowl first, but I think it's a good move, a good positive move. Despite losing their captain, Saqib, it's a big loss for them.
Yeah.
But I think, good. The wicket looks good. It's a nice seeing day. There'll be a little bit of help for the faster bowlers, but if you can get a start, I think you can make merry. Good decision.
How likely are Bangladesh, set to spoil India's party, if at all? India are coming at the back of 3 wins. Bangladesh have had only 1 win in the tournament so far and 2 losses. But they are poised 6th on the table. They are good enough, suitable enough to actually give an upset to India and a few other teams and ruffle the feathers up in the top 4 heading into the semis?
Well, all teams have the potential to do that, Esha. The recent form suggests it's going to be very hard. There's been some, good matches against these 2 teams over recent times. And I'm hoping that this one will also be another good match. But recent form suggests the Bangladeshis are going to have to pull something out of the bag to test India, who have not lost a game yet, and who are looking to now join New Zealand, still remain unbeaten on the top of the table.
Where do you think they can strike, considering their captain is out? There are a bit of injury concerns in their spin department as well. Given the pitch, supposedly a high-scoring pitch, as we've seen in the previous few matches on this one, probably that's why the decision to bat first, and they want to post that mammoth total up front and then possibly have India chase it?
Well, they need to score as many as you possibly can against this Indian batting lineup. And yes, Saqib Al Hasan will be missed hugely because he's 2 players in 1. He bats higher middle, and he bowls his 10 overs. So along with that young Mehdi Hassan Miraz, those 2 really give the flexibility of the Bangladeshis to pick either batsmen or bowlers to bolster their attack. So he'll be hugely missed. And what's a good score on this? I reckon you got to go high 280s, 200s again, 300 if possible. Anything that's going to make it difficult for the Indians to chase. It's going to be an effort to do that, but if they can not lose wickets early, as we've been saying, then who knows? Stitch up a couple of good partnerships, accelerate at the end, and you're going to get your 300, I think.
Also, you mentioned Mehdi Hassan. He got Shubman Gill out in the previous match in Asia Cup that made India lose that super stage game against Bangladesh. So
the change here is Hassan Mahmood, Esha. Is another fast bowler who comes in instead of Saqib, who was a spinner. So they've had a good look at this pitch and decided that it'll be better to cover his absence with a pace bowler rather than another spinner. So he's got some good potential too, Hassan Mahmood. So they got 2 left-arm quicks and 2 right-arm quicks in this match.
Good idea to go with a heavier pacing battery into this game?
Yeah, I think the surface dictates that. And that's why also, again, Ashwin has to sit out. So it's orientated towards the pace bowling, and that's why you've got Hassan Mahmood coming in. So the spinners here will be an off-spinner in Mehdi Hassan, Miraz, and Mahmudullah will support a little bit with his off-spinners as well. So here's that batting order. Shanto, he's the captain today. Mahmudullah, we think maybe getting a promotion, coming up to 4, Miraz 5, Mushfiq 6, and then we have Ridoy. Ridoy will bat 7, ahead of the other bowlers, that's for sure. So they still bat okay, but they're going to miss Sakib, hugely experienced. And no mug with the bat. He's also a contributor as well. So that's a blow for them for sure.
You mentioned Ashwin in India's playing 11 going into today's fixture. We see Shardul Thakur, I assume.
Yeah, no, Ashwin will have to warm the bench again, simply because the surface suggests that the medium pacers will be a little bit more effective than the spin. So here's the usual suspects coming down to number 7. That's Ravindra Jadeja, and there's Shardul Thakur at number 8. Kuldeep Yadav, wonderful bowler. He's always going to be picked. Bumrah, who's
irrespective of the surface.
Look, because he brings in his bag of tricks, and he's a wicket taker also. So Siraj, Bumrah, and Hardik Pandya, who's a very vital cog in that team as well, because he bats in that middle order very well, and he supports the fast bowlers with his decent speed as well. So he's a very important player.
Given Siraj's record of wicket taking in the first power play, should the Bangladesh top order topple right up front, how would they salvage the situation? Wow. Who would be the game changers for Team Bangladesh down that line?
Well, the Bangladeshis have only got, I think, just maybe the one aggressor up front, that's Liton Das. If Liton Das gets out, then they're really going to have to pull the brakes on and just ensure that they don't lose too many wickets whilst at the same time, playing sort of risk-free cricket, picking up ones, hitting along the ground. If you hit in the air, hit it up properly. If you hit in the air, there's a chance you could be out caught. So they're going to have to, somehow or other, work really hard until late middle overs, 35, hopefully 40 with a few wickets in hand, and then press the accelerator and try and score 80 to 100 in that last 10 overs.
Do you see Rohit play him up top?
Rohit?
Playing Siraj up top?
Opening the bowling?
Yeah.
Yes, he's, he takes it away nicely. He's in form. He's been on the bat a couple of times, but he also picks up the wicket. So yes, he's been opening the bowling with Jasprit Bumrah, and I'm expecting that to continue. Hardik Pandya, of course, is a change bowler, number 3. He comes in 3 or 4. And Shardul Thakur also will, bowl a fair amount of overs. So Ravindra Jadeja also. There's 6 bowlers to pick from to bowl 50 overs. So 4 of those are pace.
Pretty much the same order that the bowlers have followed in the previous games in the World Cup?
It can change. It really depends on...
Do you see Jadeja probably coming a little sooner?
He could do it, depending on the situation. And Rohit Sharma is a pretty shrewd captain. He's made all the correct moves so far in terms of bowling changes, the rotation, and he's had good success. So yeah, it really doesn't follow from one game to the next, Esha, that this is the order in which you will bowl. They all got to be ready at any time to come to the crease and bowl.
Given Virat's exemplary record against Bangladesh, I may not have the figures correctly, but the last 15 ODIs, I think he averages 67.25. Would you say that it could be his match today? He's due one in the World Cup in this year. Is it going to be Rohit Sharma's showing
I'm
once
sure.
again.
I'm sure he wants it to continue to be the Rohit Sharma, the hitman show.
Yeah.
But certainly Virat Kohli, you know, he likes
also
it.
Shubman Gill,
Well, Gill's-
121 in the last game against
And he's
Bangladesh.
still averaging, you know, 60-ish,
Yeah.
despite his failure last game. Yeah, so look, they're chock-a-block with talent. But Virat Kohli in this ground, I think, he's averaging 60 as well in this ground. And the guy that seems to get him out more times than not is not playing. So everything is in his favour. And really, he's a tough competitor. And I don't think he's going to give his wicket away early, whilst at the same time he'll be aggressive as well. So, you know, he's a match winner in his own right.
Okay, post a big total, we will take a look at the key battles as well that you have lined up for us.
Yeah.
But first, I want you to tell me, where is India's Achilles heel in this top order right here? Where do you think Bangladesh will look to target to break that top order?
Well,
how do they
I'm not sure about
strategize that?
Achilles heel, Isha. I think they got some strong heels.
Well, they have to incorporate that in the strategy. Yes,
that's right. And then the battles will come out to that. But yeah, they have to make some inroads with their pace attack with the new ball. Now they'll be bowling under lights, so they're hoping like hell that, you know, when they come in, the ball will do something. So if it is responding to some swing, I don't think it'll be too much seam. If it's responding to swing, then they've got a slight advantage to you know, to ensure that makes it harder for the Indian batsman and sneak in one or two, you know, through the gate or hit on the pads to get an LBW. So that's what they have to do. It's not going to. Once that shine goes off the ball, I think it'll be a very easy game.
Also, the weather yesterday in Pune may play
slight
part.
drizzle, wasn't it?
Yes, slight drizzle. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks really good today. That wicket, without being there, you know, personally, just a lovely straw colour. Looks hard. The team won the toss, batting, so all points to a good pitch for batting. But apparently, you know, they've also
ground.
assess the pace. So if you bend your back and you hit the pitch hard, you might get something out of this. So there could be some more short bowling today. Before we get into the match and we take a few comments that have been coming in for you, Dav, why don't you take us through the key battles that we can look forward to? Okay. In just a few minutes from now, I guess, in the next 15 minutes is when they take the crease. Well, obviously you have to start with the captain. You know, he's the man in form and just needs just a handful of runs to you know, to regain the highest run scorer. And you know, Mustafir Rahman, as we were just talking about, he'll have the job to try and get him out. But I tell you, the way he's batting, he's putting the pressure back on the bowlers. So he may take a chance or two if he's doing that, but if he gets away, this game's going to be opened up pretty quick, you know. After the first 10 overs of power play, they could be in anything from 60 to 80 runs. But Mustafir Rahman is given the job to get him out early, in my opinion. Well, Virat Kohli, as we just spoke about, he's always going to be talked about as a battle. Everyone wants to get him out. And we've got Hassan Mahmood here because he's taken the place of Saqib. Taskin Ahmed, who will help him do that as well. I think he's got pace. But this guy can do a little bit of movement as well, but he's going to have to be on top of his game to make it difficult for Virat Kohli. Again, top of off stump, just outside. That's the way to go on this pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, Shreyas Iyer also has been sneaking under the radar a little bit. You know, he's just quietly come into this team and becoming a consistent performer. And, you know, what the top three don't do, he just seems to clean up and provide it himself. So he's very good. He's good on the front foot and hits long sixes as well. Now, being number 4 player, he's more than likely going to face some spin. So Shreyas Iyer will be required to use his feet, pick the length and then knock it into the gap. Mahdi Hassan Miraz he's got the job on him today in this battle.
Also, Shreyas Iyer still maintaining his spot in the 11 and not giving place to Surya Kumar Yadav. He's still maintaining that spot.
Yeah.
Is he doing well enough to make it worth everyone's?
Yes. Yeah. The short answer is yes. And Surya Kumar Yadav might be hoping that this guy might just not get as many runs, so he might get a chance. But he's done everything that's asked of him so far to hold his spot. Then Liton Das, as I said, is a little more aggressive than the others. And if he gets away, it'll be lovely for the for the visitors. But he's going to have to contend with a really good bowler who's on top of his game.
That's a tall order to climb.
Yeah, he has to be really careful. Maybe even pull back that aggression just against this fella to ensure that he keeps his wicket.
His accuracy.
Yes, this guy has a really good statistic that he bowls more dot balls than anybody else. So you're going to have to be prepared to, take your medicine.
Yep.
Stay there. And the last one is Mushfiqur Rahim, he's the highest run scorer for Bangladesh in this series. Not a huge amount, but he's the main run scorer. And he's a very good player, very experienced. And he's more than likely going to be facing a bit of spin bowling where he bats. There'll be some pace as well, but I feel Ravindra Jadeja will be given the job to try and fool Mushfiqur in playing his favourite shot across the line. Slog sweep, sweeping, reverse sweeping is all his game. He's a little busybody too, not in the same mould as Rizwan, that kid Akil yesterday, Ikram yesterday, and even Scott Edwards. They're all in that sort of busy engine room area there. They have to knock it into gaps and run. So this will be a good little battle too, I reckon.
Okay, slight correction, apologies to our viewers because we have the playing 11 for you coming up as we are watching the proceedings when they're happening, and we're in the midst of this show. Ahmed comes in, plays for Shakib and not Mahmudullah. So I think our graphic mentioned Mahmudullah in place of Shakib. No,
they mentioned Hassan Mahmood, right? I think Hassan Mahmood is playing. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, the captain. Number 4 is Mahmudullah, yes. And then you have Mehdi Hassan Miraz. There's the wicket-keeper Mushfiqur. Now this guy is Nasum Ahmed.
Yeah, okay. Nasum Ahmed comes in.
Okay, not Hassan Mahmood.
Nope.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, so that's your Bangladesh.
We got Hassan Mahmood as well.
11, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's Nasum Mahmood is a newcomer. All right. Hassan Mahmood is a newcomer. So 2 have gone out. All right, 2 has gone out. Tawhid Hirori is still there. Yeah. That's interesting. That's so they've got pace anyway. They got enough pace bowlers to.
So how do you explain his inclusion?
No, he's been playing Ish, and he's one of the good youngsters there. And some of the comments, little criticism that he's been batting a little too high over Mahmudullah, who's the most experienced batsman there. So you might find a little change in that batting order. That Tawhid Ridoy may come a little bit later, but he's a good youngster who's played in that World Cup under-19 team, and he's progressed nicely into the senior team. Okay,
so Hassan for Taskin and
Taskin is the guy.
For Shakib. Yeah,
that's right. Taskin Ahmed, that's a bit of a blow too, because he's got the pace and he's the one that's been providing that. He's the fastest of those guys, so I wonder why. Maybe he's dropped, but he dropped a couple of catches too. I remember. Maybe he's getting a bit of bamboo for dropping those catches. Yeah, I do recall. Yeah, that's interesting. But they've given a chance to Nasum Ahmed and Hassan Mahmood. Good luck to them both.
Good game to give them a chance.
Yeah, well,
against India.
Well, it's a tough assignment, but opportunities come when you least expect it. You got to be ready for it, and once you put on that Bangladesh shirt, you got to go full on.
Okay, let's take a few comments now in this segment we so fondly call No More with Whatmore. First up, coming in from Faizan, who comments, appreciating daring effort of Bangladesh to rest Shakib Al Hasan against India.
Yeah, well, they're saying that he's not 100% fit. He did bat in the nets, and he did a little bit of bowling, but he's got to spend 50 overs in the field moving, and sometimes you've got to go quickly. and running between the wickets, you got to go quickly. The running between wickets is controlled at the nets, but it's not controlled in the game.
Yeah.
You know, once you enter competition, you got to go. So if he's not 100%, then perhaps it's a wise decision to leave him out for this game in the hope that he will be right for the rest of the tournament.
Okay, Lakshay asks, what should be the power score?
Power play.
Yes.
The power play
yes,
score after
yes.
10 overs. Geez, if they can average between 5.5 to 6, so anything between 55 to 60, without, I think the key there is not losing too many wickets. You know, maybe 1 wicket, that would be good.
Yeah.
And then they just build on that once the middle overs start.
If you can just again play the points table. I want to understand what is the calculation from Bangladesh from here on. I think at this point in time in the tournament, we pretty much start calculating which way the teams are headed. Say Bangladesh lose today's game. How do they stand in their chances to reach the top 4?
Okay, well, that means they've got 5 games left, and they've only got 2 points.
Yeah.
They have already played Afghanistan, which most teams would fancy to win, but you can't take them lightly. And I'm not sure whether they haven't played Netherlands yet, have they?
No, they haven't played Netherlands yet.
But they've still got some really good teams to play. So, if they think, okay, we're going to lose. If we lose today and we can still make the semi, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they need points as soon as possible in this game. Has to be thinking that way. You have to be able to be positive when you approach these games, regardless of who the opposition is. This one's a very, very strong opposition, but you've got to go full on with the intent.
So that's realistically speaking, incorporating a few of the future slip-ups as well. Say they do lose today's game, then if they win all the others, do they have a chance in the semis?
Well, they've won. That means they've won 1, and they got 5 left,
they've
right?
Got 5 left, yes.
5 and 1 is 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
They do. Okay.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Very, very intensively.
Yeah, that's sort of an extreme answer, but mathematically, yes, they will make the semi if they win.
Yeah. Talking in a similar vein of thought, if you could just look at the head-to-head between India and Bangladesh, just so that we can conjecture, I suppose, as to how this game is going to proceed further. If we can just have that graphic plate pulled up, then Dav can...
2007 is the last time we beat I put we because I was with the team. We beat India.
Yes.
That's the only time in World Cups.
There it is.
By 5, but this is this is 2007. Yep, this is in
that's the last
Trinidad.
game.
That's what
that's Trinidad one. Yeah.
In your intro, you referred to that game.
Yeah.
So look at that. It's a good team for a good Indian team.
25 years ago, yes.
Zahir Khan, Munaf Patel, Virender Sehwag, Uttapa opened.
Close encounter though.
Yeah, and Sachin, great team, and the boys did really well to win that game.
But it's a different team that Bangladesh has right now.
Oh, yes.
It's a very different team.
Yeah, although Tamim Iqbal, he's not in this one. Shakib played, Mushfiqur played.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so overall, there have been 40 games in ODI World Cup, 4 since 2019, 4. India have won 31 overall. They obviously have a better record against Bangladesh.
Big record, yeah.
But since 2019, Bangladesh have won 3 to India's 1.
1, yeah. Then that's mathematically correct. That was in Bangladesh, and it was also a time where the Indian team was resting players, the odd injury, and there was a totally different team playing. Not that you want to take anything away from the home team. Bangladesh played very well to beat India, regardless of who India puts in the field. So yes, big tick for them. But the reality is, this is not a bilateral. This is a World Cup.
Yes.
The record in World Cups are not good, and it's a different team. It's a fully fledged Indian team. So they're there, and they're without Saqib. So it's going to be a really tough assignment today.
Let's look at what our viewers seem to think about today's game. Okay. Divan says, all 4 games in chasing. Could this be a challenging scenario in the India versus New Zealand game?
No, she got the wrong one, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's take the other one. Lucky asks, who is your pick for today as a bowler from Bangladesh? Dav.
As a bowler?
Yes.
I reckon that Mustafa Rahman is the most experienced guy there today. He'll have an extra responsibility to carry the attack. I'm expecting him to possibly be at the end of the bowling effort at the end of the night to be their best bowler.
Okay. Shikhar says batting first will be a favour for both the teams as bowling is a weak point for them. What do you think? For them, is he...
Bangladesh. What they're saying
Shikhar,
is...
Are you referring to both the teams or are you just referring to Bangladesh?
I think Bangladesh, because batting first, they want to put a decent score on the board from which their bowlers can bowl to. And I think what he's trying to say is their batting is better than their bowling, particularly with Saqib not there. Probably right, but they need to get a big bank of runs to bowl at and to ask India to chase.
Okay. Mayank asks, how much Shakib's absence will affect Bangladesh?
It'll affect
We've already
them
spoken
big
about
time.
that.
Absolutely
yes,
big time. He's been one of their main players, respected. He got a lot of respect in that dressing room, and he's done it for many, many years. You know, particularly against India too. He's done pretty well, and there's been some really close games as well between these two teams. But for the recent history, you know, Bangladeshis need to step up because their form is not that great.
Okay. Amit asks, should India have played Shami over Siraj?
Not yet. It's a winning team, isn't it? You know, you always want to strengthen wherever possible. But the fact is that they're doing really well, and Siraj is also, you know, he's not a slouch. He's picking up the odd wicket. So maybe that could happen a little bit later in the tournament. But for now, I think they've done the right thing.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my next point. Is Shami being saved for the later on, or should they not have saved Siraj probably for a few other games later on in the tournament?
Well, if you tell him we're going to save you for the, he'd be very upset too. I'm fit enough, and he's a good young player. Nobody wants to give their spot to somebody else. If there's a really good reason for changing. And that could be, you know, resting and giving somebody else a game. If you're assured of getting in the semi-final, then so be it. Yeah.
Well, it is an India game today, India versus Bangladesh. Let's take a look at a bit of statistics from Team India in terms of the innings, wickets, and the run rate there. Well, you have Jasprit Bumrah with economy rate. Jasprit Bumrah with 3 innings. He's taken 8 wickets.
And very good economy.
Yes, very good economy. And Ravindra Jadeja with 3 and 5 wickets. Again, brilliant economy. Hardik Pandya, 3 and 5. Kuldeep, 3 and 5. Kuldeep also with brilliant economy. And Hardik is doing the job,
He's the one lagging behind with the economy rate, but he's getting wickets as well, though.
Yes.
And he bats beautifully.
And he bats beautifully. So he does the job,
Yeah, so, you know, they're contributing. 5, 5, 5 and an 8. And I'm all those figures will go up after today.
Okay, let's just take a look at a few more comments before we head into the match. Vikram says, all eyes will be on Virat Kohli as Rohit Sharma has already proven himself in the ICC ODI Cricket World Cup. It's now Virat Kohli's turn.
Well, Rohit Sharma...
Everyone's been waiting for Virat.
Rohit Sharma's proved himself over 3 games. 2 games. Didn't score in the first game. He's not going to say, look, I've done my job. You know, his job is to continue to go, to set maybe the best record ever for runs scored in a World Cup series. He's got a chance to do that. He's captain, he'll be playing. Virat Kohli, as we all know, is a wonderful player. And at some point, he'll be called upon to make a big contribution to win games. And he did that in the first game. You know, 3 wickets, 2 runs, and then, you know, Australia as well on top. And together with his partner, they stitched up a really good partnership to win the game for India.
For a player like Virat, one doesn't really need to call upon him. He would just do it anyway, given it could really be his last World Cup, and he would want to make it memorable.
Well, he's a competitor, regardless, you know, if it's his, I don't know, last game or whatever. He'll just walk out there and he just wants to win. He competes really hard.
Okay, a few poll questions that we asked. Who will be Bangladesh's game changer? Your options were Shakib Al Hasan, Mehdi Hasan Miraj, Mustafizur Rahman, or Liton Das.
Well, I'm hoping that Mustafizur Rahman could be the game changer, because he could rip through a few wickets, you know, in a short period of time with his swing. But if not, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So I reckon he definitely could be one of them. Also Mehdi Hasan, you know, he's a bowler who's got wickets and also is a very good batsman.
That's very interesting, Dav, because Mustafizur Rahman gets the least number of votes. He got only 6.9% votes, followed by Mehdi Hasan, who gets only 17.2% votes. The highest number of votes go to Liton Das, 48.3%. And Shakib Al Hasan, unfortunately, is not playing today's game, but he got 27.6%.
Yeah, well, he's got a difficult job, eh? He's new ball, he started to bat, 1 over's bowled, there's no wickets, and you know, he's still batting, that's good, only 1 over, but he's got a big job to do today.
Okay. Can Bangladesh upset India again?
Can they? Can they?
I think this is more like a wish list question, because around 82% say no.
Yeah, but they can, but the chances are
low.
Very slim. Yeah.
Had it not been India playing this game, perhaps there'd be more support for Bangladesh.
in terms of those
Voters
numbers
from India.
Yeah. Well, they've also got a decent following too, Bangladeshis. I'll tell you. You know, it's a lot of blue shirts out there supporting, but there's also, there'll be quite a few green ones too.
As well. What will be the first innings total in Pune? Less than 100, between 100 to 200, between 200 to 300, above 300?
200 to 300. But I would like to think it's closer to 300.
Okay, so above 300 and between 200 to 300 get the equal percentage of votes, which is 45.2 each. Between 100 to 200 gets 7.1%, and less than 100, 2.4%. We're not really expecting that.
No.
Who will be India's best player versus Bangladesh? Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah, Kuldeep Yadav.
Oh, any one of those could be.
Yeah, because that's what our poll results reflects. Almost equal number of votes to all of them.
They are just potentially the best player. And you can also put in 1 or 2 others as potentially your best player.
Even so, right, Rohit Sharma gets the maximum number of votes with 31.5. Virat Kohli on the second spot with 25%, Jasprit Bumrah 23.9%, and Kuldeep Yadav 19.6%.
Yeah, fair enough. Rohit Sharma's got the chance to, you know, to continue on his very fine form.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he'll do something as well. If he gets a start, he will put the pressure right back on the bowling team. It's going to be difficult for them to rein it back.
Contain it, Will India beat Bangladesh? You just flip the question. 87.1% say yes. 12.9% say no.
Should be higher.
Okay, so as we speak, the game has started, and how much is it, Dav?
It's 5 runs for no wickets, and
5
it's the second over, midway through the second over. Siraj is bowling, and
yes, as expected.
Yes, as we foreshadowed earlier, he's sharing that new ball with Bumrah.
Yeah, okay. We shall see you again in the mid-innings show. I suggest that everyone gets back and watches that match, and stay tuned to WION World of Cricket, because we've been getting you all the updates from all the games at the ICC ODI Cricket World Cup. Bye-bye.